It's Monday, March 6th, 2023, and you're listening to Tell It Right Podcast. Welcome back.
And we're live. What up, Jared?
Every time I see that countdown, I always think of Wayne's World.
I know, me
like
too.
3, 2, 1, and then he like rolls, or he doesn't say 2, 1. And then he,
yeah,
you didn't say 2 or 1. Oh, you don't say 2.
No, you don't say 2 or 1. It doesn't count down for us, but what's funny is when you download all the footage, you don't see the numbers like we're seeing them count down. So you just see like the last one I edited, you just see us do this. we just keep throwing our fingers at the computer screen, and we just look ridiculous. And
right,
if I actually aired that stuff, people would be like, "What are they doing?" But you have to realize the program we use actually shows us a countdown, but it doesn't like to put it on the raw footage that it provides you afterwards. So
you need to make like a montage of us
doing
rolling the finger every time for every show. We're gonna do this. So for the next year.
Yeah, right.
And then after that year's up, just put together like a music video of us.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. I'll throw it on the whiteboard back there, the lists to do. We still got to film a montage of you training in Mandalorian gear for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
With an awesome 80s song in the background.
The brown eye of a tiger. It's the brown eye of a tiger. It's the thrill.
But speaking of training and shit, you hear about this Jake Gyllenhaal stuff? UFC 285?
So, the weird thing is, like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I saw, like, I don't know if it was a TikTok or a reel or something. And it was him, like, getting ready to go into, like, a fight. But I thought it was, like, one of those deep fakes where they, like, dub somebody's face over it. Like, they do that with Arnold Schwarzenegger all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was looking at it, I was like, this has to be fake. Like, there's no way. Like, he's not really fighting. Because he was, like, jacked. So I guess, like,
yeah,
he looks crazy.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was ripped.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, so he wasn't actually fighting, though. So he's got an upcoming movie, he's filming a movie right now. And they used 285 just as a place to shoot some B-roll for him.
Gotcha.
But what's crazy is, I saw it on Barstool Sports.
Okay.
So at first, when you're up in the stands, it says Jake Gyllenhaal on the description. But down there, it looks like he's, like, fucking into it. But his shots were missing. But the crowd's going wild and all that stuff. But yeah, it's for Roadhouse. They're remaking Roadhouse.
I mean, I don't know if that's the best movie to really remake. I mean, they really have to be chomping at the bit to, like, or like just trying to figure out anything to make a movie of nowadays, because like they just have no good ideas of their own. They're like, let's do Roadhouse. Like, I'm sorry, you're never gonna beat Patrick Swayze.
Well,
like he's the Swayze.
They're all making up for Cowboys and Aliens. That's where Hollywood went downhill. Is when they made that movie.
I love that movie. Dude, I love that movie. It's super entertaining. It's like you got Daniel Craig, you got Harrison Ford.
Yeah, you do.
You got the dude that plays what's it called, the Riddler in Batman.
Jim Carrey?
No, the new Batman.
Oh,
with Vampire Kid.
Yeah. Oh God, his name. their names are always at the tip of my tongue, and when we
Yeah.
need to know them, I never know them.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a lot, and then Olivia Wilde, she's in it.
That's right, Olivia
I
Wilde.
Dude, I like that movie. Oh, and Clancy Brown. You're ragging on Cowboys and Aliens, and Clancy Brown is in that movie.
You're right. I was wrong for saying that.
You're a terrible person.
No, the movie industry went down when they did Brokeback Mountain, which Jake Gyllenhaal also starred in. So they're making a comeback for him.
Is this the same character in Brokeback Mountain, but now he's a UFC fighter?
Yeah.
It's all about him trying to make love to men while they're
Hey
boxing.
Jake, hey Jake, we got another one for you. We got another.
You did so well in the first one.
Jake, you did really well in that Brokeback Mountain. Now we got Roadhouse. And it's going to be like the same storyline, just in a bar.
Right.
And you're going to roundhouse kick people.
He better be roundhouse kicking everybody.
Yeah, it better be constant. Like, it better be a tribute to fucking Family Guy.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
it was Paul Dano, everybody.
That's
Paul
it.
Daniel.
Paul Dano.
Sorry.
Yes. Because, I mean, he better be roundhouse kicking more than Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know what I mean?
You mean Swayze?
No. Jean-Claude Van Damme roundhouse kicks everything.
Well, he does. But Swayze was the original roundhouse.
Oh, I know. Roadhouse. I know that. But I'm just saying in general, there needs to exceed a point where you're above any other roundhouse kicking movie. Like,
yeah,
you got like Roadhouse is up there. Pretty much all Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I think you got what's his face? He does some Walker Texas Ranger. He does some roundhouse kicks.
If I was a plumber and I had to seal something, I would say all the time, "Man, that seal's tighter than I." Oh fuck! I fucked it up.
Man, you just ruined that whole thing.
Yeah, never
the
mind.
Delivery, the punchline, everything was just terrible.
That was terrible. Yeah, it's gonna get cut. Gonna get cut for sure. No, if I was a plumber, basically, I would say if I sealed something up really tight, I'd be like, "Man, that seal's so tight, just like Jean-Claude Van Damme's ass cheeks."
Oh yeah.
And
crack walnuts.
Crack fucking eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs and walnuts.
So yeah, I mean, I'm unfortunately I'm going to have to see this movie. I mean, it's not going to be good. I mean, even the original Roadhouse is not a good movie.
I just feel like it's going to be like Space Jam when I just think of the footage that they took over the weekend. It's going to be like at the end, it's just going to be him UFC fighting. It's going to be like all the credits rolling out.
Yeah, my guess is that like he's a washed up UFC fighter.
Yeah, that's what it's getting at. Yeah, he's like he's like a champion. I think what they filmed is the championship. So his title, then he gets washed up and then becomes a fucking bar bouncer.
Yeah. I have to say, if Jake Gyllenhaal was a bouncer at a bar, I would not be afraid of him.
They're going to give him a gay ass truck. I know it.
You think so?
Yeah, it's going to be black too, just I think like Swayze's was.
I mean, it's probably going to be like a Dodge Ram or an F-150.
I'm going to say not... Dodge Ram.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who's sponsoring the movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Dodge or Ram. Can't call it Dodge.
Well, yeah, but he drives a Mercedes in that movie, doesn't he? Like a convertible Mercedes in the original.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Pretty sure.
Watch it again.
You better be doing calisthenics by the river in the morning outside of a farmhouse.
They should just do Dirty Dancing too with them while they're at it. Like make that good. They tried redoing it. I don't know. It was like Dirty Dancing Hacienda Nights or something like that.
Havana Nights.
Oh, Havana Nights. Yeah, I don't know. That was stupid. I don't know who ever watched that. It was like when they tried bringing back Grease and there was no original cast, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we're out. We're
I mean,
out."
I'm pretty sure it's probably a bunch of like Puerto Rican people and Cuban people that like that one.
Probably.
I mean, let's just be real about it.
Yeah. Wasn't a bunch of Jewish people at a Jewish retreat.
Yeah.
You
You know
know
what's
that's what that was. You know that, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, have you seen there's this show on Amazon. It's like about this comedian lady. I can't think of her name. Or the name of it. It's like Miss Maisel.
yeah.
Is the name of the movie on Amazon Prime. And it's got Tony Shalhoub, and they go to one of those like for 2 months or 2 or 3 months. They're like vacationing at some resort, and it's just a bunch of like Jewish people.
Oh, okay. So the marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got Tony Shalhoub, Alex Bornstein, and Rachel
yeah, yeah.
Bronzahan.
Tony Shalhoub in that show is hilarious. Like I
Is
have
he?
only watched like the first or second season. I'm not sure how many I've gotten through, but uh, yeah, Tony Shalhoub kind of makes that. He plays a perfect Jewish man with a lot of money in that era of time.
What did he play when he was in Wings? He wasn't he like some kind of Middle Eastern like.
He's like a mechanic or
No,
something, or
no,
like
he
a
wasn't a
parts guy.
mechanic. He was the cab driver.
No,
And like
yeah,
he barely knew English, and like he was friends with all of them because he hung out at the airport, taking people
mhm.
to wherever on Nantucket Island.
I don't think he gets enough credit for
He doesn't.
his vast array of different characters he's played. I mean,
What's that other show?
think of Men in Black. He was that alien thing
That's
that got
right.
his head blown off.
But did you ever watch Monk? That was a weird show.
I've watched it a few times. Like I've caught episodes, but
Didn't really like entertain me, but it was like interesting that he was like Rain Man.
I mean,
Pretty much.
imagine trying to play that character for however long that
About
series went on for.
7 years, yeah. I mean, 7 seasons or six to 7 seasons is like an eternity for most shows. Like, you know what I mean? Not Friends was like the only one that's pulled off that like 14-year thing. Otherwise, cartoons have a better chance of lasting, thousands of years.
Yeah, other than Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, yeah, holds the record. You
Yeah,
know, that's a whole nother story.
or imagine like I like to watch Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
Like Jim Parsons, the guy who plays the like weird guy on that.
yeah.
Forgot what. Um, anyways, he imagine playing that. I mean, how long was that show on for? That was on for a while.
That probably might have beaten Friends actually.
But I'm pretty sure like that type of character playing it for that long is career ending. That's just like what's his face from Harry Potter. Like you're not getting any other work because you're Harry Potter. Like that's what people know you are.
Who, Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah. Have you seen any
No,
of his other movies? They're awful, and all you're sitting
they
there is like,
are,
just whip your fucking wand out and do something about this, and
but
then you're like, oh yeah,
he's
you're
still
not Harry Potter in
he's
this
still
movie.
doing things where some of them probably went back to college.
Have you seen the movie Horns
No,
with him? Oh my god. Or Swiss Army Man?
you
That's
told me
got
about
that's got,
Paul
that's got
Dano.
debt.
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go. That reverts us right back to him.
yeah. I'll have to check. I'll check out Swiss Army
It's
Man because that
ridiculous.
sounds Greasy Strangler ish.
Yeah, that we're gonna review a movie that's next on the list.
Yeah,
Swiss Army Man, because it's just ridiculous.
yeah.
So
But dude, finally Can't finally happen. Mandalorian season 3, episode 1. What'd you think,
Yes.
bro?
I don't know. I think I'm indifferent about it. It was. I mean, obviously, I just love to see it, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it was very unclimactic for a first episode, right? It doesn't. If that was the first episode of that show ever, it would have not grabbed me, right? I would have been like, "This is gonna be dumb," right? Uh
Yeah.
Felt a little rushed. They only did a 35-minute episode for the first one.
I think it was actually like 27 minutes when I really
Yeah,
put
plus
everything
credits and
together.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
plus
In
credits and shit.
opening, you know,
Yeah, so
recap.
that's a half-hour show, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot in it. The timeline really just didn't add up because apparently we're way ahead in the future, like years.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know where we are, right? Because when he lands on Navarro and it's fucking a completely different place,
Oh yeah.
how long did it take for that to happen? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not a rat shit bounty hunter hangout. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Um, the other thing is that, and it's kind of been this way with most of the Mandalorian, like the dialogue is just horrible. Like it's very blocky, especially what's his face's character. Um, can't I think of his name? The black guy.
Carl Weathers,
Yeah, Carl Weathers. Like,
Magna
wait,
Carta is what I call him, but it's Grief Carta.
yeah, like the way he talks in that show is very stupid.
I wanted to bring that up actually. I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, he seems to always have this like this problem on his hand. There's always a problem and
Mm-hmm.
he tells it in great detail. And it's like almost impossible the way he explains it to come out
Mm-hmm.
of this. But he always has a fucking card up his sleeve where all of a sudden, oh, but I have this solution right here. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like they're walking with the droids. He's like, I don't know, Mando. That's a pretty heavy job right there, to
Yeah,
rebuild that droid. But hey, Navarro has, obtained the most talented droid rebuilders out there.
yeah,
And like just
yeah,
happens to be right in front of the plate, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's definitely a showman, in
Well, I
Navarro.
mean, look what he's wearing. I mean, he's got droids carrying his cape now, so it doesn't drag on the
Just
ground.
remember him before when like Mando season 1 episode 1, like
Mm-hmm.
the grifter piece of shit he was back
Yeah,
then. Like now all of a sudden he's honest Abe and like get the fuck away from the school. You're not having a drink in there. There's little kids in there now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. The feel of the first episode just was weird. I don't like
Yeah.
how persistent Mando was on having that particular IG-88 or whatever do the thing. He's like, "Oh, I need this one. This is the only one." It's like, come on, idiot! Like, move on. Get something else. You didn't like droids to begin with. Like,
Right.
I don't like. He just seems dumb,
Yeah.
right? And with his background, uh, look at um I think it was season 1 when we first met when they went and they were breaking that guy out of that prison, and they had the group of bounty hunters with the droid, and he didn't trust anybody on there, and they were all talking about stories about him in the past, and like they're like, oh, he was merciless, he used to just kill people to kill people and all this and that and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He just seems to have lost his kind of coolness. Again, we come back to when you start developing a character too much and you lose that mystery behind him, he becomes
Yeah.
less interesting. He seems like an idiot. It's like, oh, I got to go under here and get this stupid shit and bathe in this water and this and that. It's like, dude, you got the dark saber. Like,
It's
just own
getting
it.
it's getting very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's being very like, it's funny. John Favreau's Jewish, but he's writing very Christian, like stuff from the Bible, the Christian Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was reading something. It's They're comparing Mandalorian or Mando Dinjarin to Saint Christopher. I don't really
Okay.
know. I'm not religious or anything, so I don't know a whole lot about this guy. Apparently, he was a Roman soldier sent to the far ends of the earth. Back whatever that
Mm-hmm.
was back then, Asia. I don't know, but he
Yeah.
was like doing good deeds for people and helping people. But apparently, the story goes he carried a child across a river, and the child started becoming very heavy. And then he started asking the child, who are you? And it turns out it's Christ. And now he's bearing, the weight of Christ or something like that and shit. But like he actually finds himself and finds his Christianity. And from there on, he helps spread it and unites people or whatever, but ends up getting murdered by somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's strange that they're doing this, yeah, because they're obsessed with baths. They're obsessed in this show. Like there's like 20 references to bathing,
Yeah.
and you know, like she grabs like they start off they're in the water. Okay, so it looks like it's a freaking Baptist baptism going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
She scoops water out of the lake and dumps it over the kid or whatever. So there's that. Mando is obsessed with bathing in water to wash his fucking sins because he took his helmet off and now he's a
Mm-hmm.
big bitch about it. I think the first negative to this is what they did with Boba Fett. So if you remember in Boba Fett, they just had a whole fucking episode on Mandalorian
Mm-hmm.
and it just came out of nowhere. And it was like,
Yeah.
what does this have to do with Boba Fett? Why do we have to see this great detail? They had to show it because apparently he grabs Grogu from Skywalker and he goes and he helps Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Okay. But they do Mandalorian, they do that episode in Boba Fett, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't watch that, now you're watching Mandalorian and you're wondering how the fuck did Grogu get back? Now, obviously, you'd really have to be living under a rock to realize, you know what I mean, if you were
Yeah.
somewhat into the Star Wars world.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were somebody that just watched Mandalorian and didn't watch any other thing,
Yeah.
you would then watch Mandalorian and be like, okay, well, when I last saw it, this little green guy went with Luke Skywalker and they continued Jedi training.
Yeah.
And we never saw him again. But now all of a sudden we're season 3, the little green guy's back.
Yeah.
Now Mandalorian's got a freaking starfighter.
Yeah. Where the hell
So
did this happen? Yeah. Now that's I mean, again, you have to be living up under some kind of rock to not have watched one and the other.
yeah,
Because if you like The Mandalorian, then you were probably a fan of Boba Fett to begin with, right? I mean, people were
right.
freaking out when Boba Fett showed up in season 2, of Mandalorian. So, yeah, that's weird. I get, again, that kind of going along with the timeline thing. They really didn't explain a lot of what was going on. I wish they would have just kind of kept right after Boba Fett. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like we've accelerated too far, and now there's no way of explaining what's happened. But if it's
Right.
been years, what has he been doing for years
Yeah, now that
between the Boba? Because he got ousted in the book of Boba Fett because he removed it, blah blah blah. And then he gets the Starfighter thing. So then what? He had to go track them back down, but what has he been doing? I mean, wouldn't your first thing be to go and redeem yourself in the waters of the mines below Mandalore?
Well, not that didn't get revealed until he went to that weird ass space station city,
Yes.
and he went into the basement, which was in Boba Fett, and then like yeah, him and Paz
The armor.
Vizsla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, they duked out or whatever with the dark saber,
hmm
or yeah, for the dark saber or whatever. But that's when she stopped them and asked them, basically was making them repeat their oaths just to verify that they were good, Mandalorians. But then Din Djarin's like, yeah, I took my helmet off. She's a
Yeah.
fucking dumbass for saying. But he's so drawn into his religion that, like, yeah, he can't lie. So he's going to say, I removed my helmet. And then she exiles him. But you're right. None of that makes sense because it felt like he had only been with Skywalker for maybe a year or two.
hmm
But what else doesn't make sense is like you don't have a ship. So how are you getting around and what are you doing? So maybe he still is bounty hunting, but he's taking public transportation or some shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we saw him do that in Boba Fett. He took that
Right.
public transportation to Tatooine,
Right.
and he had to give up all his weapons and shit to get on. And
I guess I don't know how much it costs relatively to just go around the fucking galaxy in Star Wars world. I guess maybe it might be relatively cheap.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, I think they got this all kind of screwy.
Your boy's back though. Taika Waititi in IG.
Yeah,
Fucking love that guy. We're just gonna call him New Zealand. 'Cause you loves New Zealand so much, and he's
I mean,
like
he
the fucking
ruined
poster.
Thor.
He is the poster child of like New Zealand.
He ruined Thor. I don't know if I really care for his directing capabilities any
I mean,
longer.
he did direct some Mandalorian episodes, I thought.
He did,
Yeah.
which are probably the weird ones. You know who I don't like either? So the kid that they were baptizing in this.
Yes.
So it's Jimmy Kimmel's nephew or something.
Get out of town.
Yeah. So it's Jimmy Kimmel. So like, you know, this whole like thing lately about Nepo babies, which are like kids that are related to famous people that are getting jobs just because
Oh,
they're
okay.
related to a famous person. Like this is 100%
Yeah.
the reason. So like that kid, I hope he dies. I wish that alligator thing would have bit him in half and we saw it on screen.
You
That would
know,
have been sweet.
that's a good point to bring up. Yeah, I didn't like that kid. The first thing I want to say is, how long does it take that armorer to make fucking helmets, dude? Like they have a whole goddamn ceremony. Like that's a long time to wait for someone to bang out some hard ass metal for one. But like
Yeah.
it seems like she just does this like it's like an hour max. Like
Yeah.
you need a helmet, I got you. We'll get you in in an hour. Just have the drums beaten ready, and that really helps me get going, and
Right.
I'll have you something. And then she did, and then yeah, you come out, and now this is where they kind of tricked you. I thought this was Din Djarin's baptism.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, and like it's really weird how it stops right when she says you will never remove this helmet, and he's about to repeat it, but she stops him. And then that big alligator thing just pops out of nowhere. And so I'm like, oh, dude, well, that's his loophole right there, bro.
Yep.
Like,
That's what I was thinking.
We're
Too.
done. We're done, Mandalorian over. Nope. Starfighter comes and just tears ass after these Mandos struggle to handle the beast. Like
That's the other thing too. Like,
yeah,
they suck that much.
right.
I don't know.
then the cold-hearted bitch is like, well, fuck you. You still removed your helmet. Like, fuck you. I just blasted an alligator that was
Right.
bigger than a mountain.
Right. Gator
Like,
don't play no shit.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, maybe I should have just flew on to the next fucking valley and
Yeah.
forgot about you guys. You
Yeah.
know, like,
I
yeah,
wouldn't want to be part of that group anyways because they all suck at fighting. No wonder they lost the war.
right.
Cult weirdos.
You know, another thing that I caught was it was a very brief explanation of Cara Dune and why she
Yeah.
wasn't around.
Yeah.
Which, okay, cool. She's now special forces. At
Yeah.
least they gave her that. At least they didn't like pretend like she never existed.
Right.
You know.
Plus, that kid's helmet sucked. Like, that was the worst looking helmet I've ever seen.
It
Like,
was
I could have
pretty
made a better
lame.
helmet, like, out of my asshole. Like, that
Yeah,
helmet made that kid look like a queerosexual.
he is definitely the Q, and I don't want to say that, but
He's in the alphabet.
yeah, he's definitely the Q in the alphabet. But
Yeah.
I it was weird. I
Yeah.
just the kid had like he gave me a weird vibe. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
haunt me in my night or in my dreams, and then they're
Right.
not gonna be dreams at that point. They're gonna be nightmares, and like I just feel like he's just gonna like pop out of nowhere and just stab me in the heart a million times, and
Yeah.
he's just gonna like scream at the top of his lungs. Like, yeah, it's fucked up.
I just don't like him because I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. Because I used to love Jimmy Kimmel because he did the Man Show, and I loved the Man Show. It
And
was
he
freaking
he
hilarious, and
brought
he
a
did
whoop.
blackface. He did blackface. He was Carl Malone. Do you remember that? This here Carl
Like,
Malone, and he was full, like head to toe, and there was women jumping on trampolines, and then he
yeah,
comes out and he's like, "Oh, I was so bad back then. Yeah, he needs to bathe in the river and get eaten by the crocodile too.
yeah.
Renounce his sins. He sucks."
Yeah, dude. I don't really watch Jimmy Kimmel, and
Never.
he's not really that funny to me.
Jimmy Fallon's pretty funny.
Yeah. Now Jimmy Kimmel, when he was on the Man Show, he did bring a woman on, and she did smash a Foster's can with her boob. So
Oh, I remember
I
that.
had a lot of respect for him then, but nah. No, ever since he started taking candy away from kids, that's like the meanest. That should be like that's abusive, dude. It's like the
Right.
same with the damn Grinch thing that these people do with their kids. Oh god.
I'm pretty sure that he also has been to Epstein Island. So
Probably. But back to Mandalorian here. So what predictions do you have? So from now until like the end of the series.
um I mean, he's going back to Mandalore.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to reunite the people. I
Mm-hmm.
think, or at least that's how it will end, with him trying to reunite everybody, moving us on to season 4, which they said they already have written.
Okay.
Um, so I think it's going to be that kind of mission, and of course, he's going to be doing his side quests for helping out people.
His laundry
You know,
list.
yeah, his laundry list. Plus,
Yeah.
like, here's another thing. Like, and I don't know if you felt this too, but I feel like this show is getting kind of kid orientated. Like, when you watch it, the way people act and the way people are very PG.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Okay, so when he was fighting those pirates, and that one like space pirate guy that looked like he was Swamp Thing, like stood up and he was like, "I'm gonna get you." Like, it felt like he was a kid's, like, "Oh, he's a bad guy." Like, he didn't seem evil. You know, this
Yeah.
has zero feel of Andor, but this would make a 10 times better show if it did. If it got nitty gritty.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they need like at least a PG-13 to R-rated
I
Mando.
I definitely know what you're talking about because when I watched the Bad Batch, that's where like, oh fuck, this is really kid PG orientated, you know. Where like when I do think of Mando and I think of like younger kids, it might not be the best for them because it can be a little graphic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are some kind of fucked up scenes in like Bad Batch where they literally do like a point blank shoot at someone's head and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So like okay, that is kind of fucked up for little kids, but still like overall like you know, with the little girl and all that and like the way the voice actors talk, you know. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very PG. And then especially when you compare it to like Andor where that was just like completely dark, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
Mandalorian, I'm not really. I kind of. I don't know. Maybe it is the character development, but I just like. I feel like we are seeing a timeline now. We're
Yeah.
seeing things progress, and it's not like everything's the same. Like again, Navarro's now a trade capital of like the Outer Rim or some shit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Rewatch it again, especially just pay attention to the part where that pirate guy is. You'll get what
yeah,
I mean. It's like this was designed around merchandising. You know what I mean? This is to sell stuff. Like we're gonna make this guy a toy.
yeah.
And then we're gonna push Baby Yoda, Grogu,
And
whatever.
and honestly, I want somebody to like comment and tell me if they've figured this out. Why the hell they're obsessed with baths? Like, where is this like coming from in the Bible to like bathe yourself? I don't know. Again, I'm
Yeah.
not religious, so that's
Well, we'll see what happens come Wednesday. Hopefully, this next one because we only have, which is disturbing, 7 episodes left of this, which we've
lame.
waited 2 years for.
Lame.
I know.
Well, at
I
least
don't
they got
know.
another script.
Yeah.
But
Oh well.
yeah, well before we go off here, just remember this is Mando's laundry list. He's got to find a new memory chip for his freaking New Zealand
Mm-hmm.
or the robot rather. Yeah, he's definitely got to take his baths in the mines and cleanse himself. He's gotta unite the Mando mercs out there.
Mm-hmm.
So all you Mando mercs, look out because Din Djarin's there with his dark saber and he's going all night long. And then yeah, he's got to fix IG. But I wanted to throw this last prediction out there. I think IG will become the Marshal of Navarro when it's all said and done.
All right.
Okay.
Or maybe he'll wash in the waters underneath and become a Mandalorian.
Oh, definitely that too. Him and Grogu. Fuck it. Even Grief Karda. Why not? You know?
So I mean, last thing, and I was thinking about this earlier. So if Grogu's a youngling, at some point he's going to have to get a helmet.
At some point he's gonna have to fucking talk.
Yeah. It's going to be
Yeah.
weird. I don't know. Again, character development's just going to destroy that thing, and he's not going to be fun anymore. He's not going to have the baby appeal. Oh well, we'll see.
Until next time, guys. Thanks for joining in. Make sure you're following, sharing, and liking. Do whatever. Get it out there. Let everybody know Jared and Mike's out there, and we're telling it right for your
The
pleasure.
only way.
The only way. This is the way. Peace.
Peace.
That's our show. Please make sure to subscribe to catch all the latest episodes of Tell It Right podcast. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.